Welcome to the GCN Tech Show.
We're back, together, in the set, thanks
Yay.
to the Corona screen, which is protecting me from Manon.
Protecting me from Ollie, actually.
So much tech this week. It's going to be a jam-packed show. New Specialized Tarmacs has been launched, as well as new bikes from Merida, Cervelo and Orbea. There's also new Pirelli tubeless tyres, the Bike Vault, your upgrades, and our main talking point.
The biggest crowdfunding flops. Products that promised so much but never delivered.
First up, the poll from last week's show, which was the Superstrata 3D printed bike on Indiegogo. We asked you if you thought it would be a success, and quite overwhelmingly, 82% of you thought no, it's going to be a flop. Which, well, I mean, that's pretty conclusive from the tech audience. But when I looked into it a bit more, there were a few inconsistencies that did strike me. So if you look on their page, they say that their bike is going to be made from like 3D printed carbon fiber that's recyclable, which sounds great and it's like a genuinely exciting kind of tech innovation. But then when you look at a video on their YouTube channel describing the carbon fiber they're going to use and what makes it special, they're just talking about regular carbon fiber that's not recyclable. So yeah, a little bit. They need to sort that out.
Anyhow, this got us thinking about other Kickstarter campaigns and crowdfundings that promised so much that turned out to be a damp squib.
Yeah, so, well, you have to start off with SpeedX. I mean, SpeedX, we've spoken about it before, so I'm not going to go into loads of detail, but it is the kind of poster child of these examples. Massive proposition, raised over $15 million in investment to get it going, and they promised to deliver the world's first smart bike. And unfortunately, for a whole host of reasons, it didn't happen for them. But in the defense of SpeedX, they were a legitimate company with honest intentions. You know, it just proved more difficult, I think, than they could have imagined.
Well, how about the Limits Pow Meter? This is a really intriguing one. A Pow Meter for around $300. It promised so much and it could be fitted to any bike.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds too good to be true, and well, it might have been. Yeah. So it was a little sort of nodule that would have fitted in between the crank and the pedal. And well, one potential disadvantage of that system that kind of never crossed that bridge because never arrived at it, but is that would widen the Q factor of your pedals as well in your bike, which, you know, would that cause injuries or discomfort when you're riding? Yeah, I don't really know. And also, I mean, would this Pow Meter have even been accurate?
Well, we may never know. Despite raising a load of money, nearly £500,000, backers were left disappointed. The product did come out, but it wasn't up to scratch, and they decided to stop selling it and work on the second generation.
And a look on the Limits website and also their Indiegogo crowdfunding page suggests there isn't currently much activity, and it's been a while now, and there's still no sign of that Mark II, that Gen 2 version. I've got one, right?
Go on.
Good one, this. Helios bars, remember them?
I do.
120K raised US dollars, right? 700 backers or so. Mad. And well, they promised to turn any bike into a smart bike if you just fitted these handlebars. Loads of features. Check this out, right? Built-in GPS tracking, right? iOS Bluetooth connectivity, integrated headlights, customizable proximity and ambient lighting, rear LEDs that also acted as turn signals, and they functioned as visual navigation and speedometers.
Does sound like quite a good.
I mean, it sounds pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Now, the people who backed Helios bars expected to receive their Helios bars in December of 2013.
2013,
yeah.
right?
But they didn't.
No.
Some bars did eventually ship, though, in January 2016. And the reason for the delay, well, the guy that was making the Helios bars, he said that flaky manufacturers in China were responsible.
I see. Just blame someone else. Unfortunately, 7 years later, a lot of the backers never received their bars, but the ones who did complained about the fit, the quality, the durability, and some said they didn't even work out the packaging, as well as a buggy corresponding app.
I've got another one. Right.
Go on.
Ride Eye camera. You heard of that?
Yeah.
Yeah? This bad boy raised 84,000 US dollars. Okay, and it was, in theory, it's a good idea, I think, right? Yeah. It's a black box video recorder for your bike, and I think there's a definite market for that kind of thing, especially amongst commuters. So if if you're riding along, it's constantly recording video, like a black box in a plane, and audio and GPS data, so that if you do have an accident, there is a record, and it's not your fault. There's a record of that accident to help, kind of protect you, which I think is a good idea. And it had loads of features in it as well. So high definition video camera that had a wide angle lens, one touch operation, a lithium cell battery that was said to last ages, an onboard accelerometer and other sensors, and a CNC machined aluminium construction.
This product did make it to the market, but the makers struggled to mass produce them in a cost-effective way. They sold them on Amazon, and it had a rating of 3 out of 5 stars. People liked them, and it was everything they wanted in a cycling video camera, but they said it was too expensive and the audio wasn't great and the head unit was very unreliable.
Yeah, but I think, again, like, people were quite fair in that I think they did think it was a good idea.
Yeah, I'd use one if I was commuting.
Just not quite executed.
Yeah.
Up to the way people wanted. Do you know what? This has got me thinking. I'd love to do a Dragon's Den style GCN Tech thing where we get Kickstarters to pitch their cycling inventions to us.
Yeah, I'd be keen for that. It'd be a hilarious video too.
Yeah, I'm out.
Is that your Deborah Meaden impression?
Yeah. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the UK version of Dragon's Den, Manon's referring to one of the venture capitalists on it. Anyway, what are your sort of biggest tech flops from the cycling industry and Kickstarter campaigns? Let us know in the comments, I guess, which ones we've missed, because there's been a lot.
There has been, yeah.
I mean, there's been a lot of amazing Kickstarters that have been successful products as well, but I think it's quite interesting to look at the flops. Time now for Hot Tech, and we begin this week with one of the most anticipated bikes of 2020, the new Specialized Tarmac. Now, Specialized has described this bike as one bike to rule them all, not because it can only be destroyed by casting it into the depths of Mount Doom from whence it came, but because it's it's intended to replace both the Specialized Venge and the current Specialized Tarmac by combining them together.
Through working with the pro team, Specialized believe riders are always having to make a compromise. Do I choose the heavier but more aero Venge, or do I choose the lighter and less aero Tarmac?
Well, in a bid to eliminate that compromise, Specialized claims that the new Tarmac is as light as the new Trekker, around 6.7 kilos out the box for the latest one, but nearly as aero as the current Venge, which, I mean, if that's true, that's really cool, yeah. Really impressive. And I have to say, I think they've done a nice job with the way it looks as well. I mean, that is subjective, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Sagan and Alaphilippe racing on it when that resumes.
Very soon.
Yes, at Strada Bianchi. And of course, you can watch that if you get the race pass and watching it through the GCN app. But if you want to get your hands on a new Tarmac, well, they're not cheap. So starting for the basic model, £2,500 or $2,600. But if you want the top of the range one, like Sagan and Alaphilippe, that's £10,500 or $12,000. I know. Yeah. Well, I think we should have a poll on it anyway. Hot or not, the new Tarmac. You can click on screen, vote in the app.
Orbea has just launched a rather tasty new frame too. This is the Orbea OMR. More of an endurance-focused frame rather than the OMX that we both have.
Yeah, so the OMR or OMX name, according to Orbea, determines the kind of carbon fibre that they're using in the frame. So it's still made of high-strength, high-modulus fibres, but it's more economical in the case of the OMR, resulting in a slightly heavier but slightly less stiff frame. So in way of comparison about the weight, the new OMR frame in a size 53 is said to weigh 1,030 grams, whereas the higher-end OMX version in the same 53 is said to weigh 830 grams.
The tube shapes are different and rounder too, and it's interesting because everybody is going for a more aero bike, but not everybody wants this, and Orbea have recognised this and made a bike that is more comfortable and more compliant to ride.
Yeah, it's said to be 10% more compliant than the OMX, and the geometry is different as well. So it's got space for up to 35mm tyres, which is pretty cool, and it's slightly taller in the head tube and shorter. So, in theory, if you were, riding an OMX with a couple of spaces under the stem, you could ride the OMR slammed, which is kind of cool.
You do get the integrated cockpit as you do on the OMX as well too. Cervelo has launched a new bike too, the Caledonia, which is likely to be used by Team Subweb this weekend in the imminent classic season, starting with Strade Bianche.
Yeah, which of course you can watch if you've got Race Pass in the GCN app. Yeah, getting the plugs, firing the plugs in, getting them in, firing them out here. Anyway, it's quite an interesting bike, this. It's, intended to, they described it as a new style road bike, and it's meant to sit between the Aspero, their full-on gravel bike, and the R5, their full-on
race bike.
Climbing bike, yeah. So it's got quite a lot of tyre clearance, 34mm, drop seat stays, D-shaped seat post, the usual, yeah.
Should you have a poll in the app?
No.
Hot or not?
No, can't have too many plugs. Can't do too, got to respect the poll.
Okay.
We can't do too many polls.
There's a lot of new bikes this week, so.
There are. But, speaking of polls, last week's poll, we haven't even spoken about that. The Kakuru limited edition Oakleys that were designed to help celebrate the Olympics. They would have been the Olympics special Oakleys.
Does this mean they're going to have another one next year, or is...
Well, I think they probably will, yeah. We asked hot or not. Apparently...
I'm surprised by this.
Yeah, 60% said not.
I think they're really hot.
I think it's because the first image is the sucrose, which are divide
Not for everyone.
taste, yeah. But I thought they were hot as well. I also like how I didn't mention this, but they're all individual. So they developed a special way of painting them so that no two pairs are the same.
Nice that. Cool. Mark Cavendish has a new race bike, the new Merida Reacto, that he'll be sprinting on for Bahrain McLaren. It's based on the previous models, but with new and improved aerodynamics.
Everyone's got a new bike this week.
So many new bikes.
I know. So it's got a new fork that's said to be more aerodynamic. It's got improved tyre clearance up to 30mm now. It's loads for an aero bike. It's also got dropped seat stays that are even more dropped than they were before, and there's a new handlebar on it as well.
It looks cool though. Can't wait to see Cav sprinting on that very soon.
Yeah, well, I'm excited as well. We've got a first look video coming on this bike, so stay tuned for that. There'll be more detail in there. And another cool tech detail, it's got these heat sink kind of fins that are put onto the brake calipers to help them dissipate heat more effectively and cool down quicker under prolonged braking. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's the point. Pretty cool.
Hot new tyre tech now.
Not a new bike?
No, tyres, right? So Pirelli has just launched its latest tubeless tyres, tubeless versions of its P0 performance tyres. So there's two. There's the P0 TLR and there's the P0 TLR SL. Okay, and I'm particularly excited about these because Pirelli are our tyre sponsor, which means
we get to ride them.
I've already got them.
You've already got?
Yeah. Have you got them yet?
No. Carry on. I'm sure I'll get them very soon.
Anyway, right, so the two tyres have been launched, okay? And the TLR is intended to be a kind of a more general purpose performance tyre that you could in theory use, in 4 seasons. Whereas the SL, that has a bit less punch protection, but has lower rolling resistance. It's a bit more of a specialist, best day, race day tyre. But pretty cool. And they've been tested with Mitchelton Scott and Trek Segafredo, who are the Pirelli sponsored teams. The new tubeless tyres are designed for, tubeless compatible and also hookless rims. And there's some really cool tech about the sort of rolling resistance and the ideal pressure that you should run them at, that Pirelli did a load of research into that, which is really cool. But I'm not going to go into all the detail here. Stay tuned for it because there's going to be an unboxing video of them next week where you actually have a chance to win them as well, and I'll explain the tech there. So
maybe I'll win them and I'll get some.
Yeah, well, you need a pair, don't you?
Yeah.
You haven't got a pair yet. I've got a pair. So.
Have you got a pair?
Yeah. It's time now for Screw Riding Upgrades by Upgrades, where you submit evidence of the upgrades that you've made to your cycling lives, bikes, or equipment in a chance to win the ultimate prize, a GCN cap.
Yippee! It's been a while since we've done this one together.
It's been a long time.
It's a very long time.
I've nearly forgotten how.
Yeah, I was going to say, could you remember? Do you want me to do that? But you did it.
Yeah, thanks. Well, what's happening?
Well, last week, I wasn't here last week, but I do have the results from last week. And we had Fab's single-speed restoration and Menard's Facebook garbage to gravel project.
They're both good.
Yeah.
What's the results?
It was close.
Yeah.
And with 51%, it was Fab's single-speed restoration.
Close.
Yeah.
Close.
Count is in the post. Send us your details on Facebook and we'll get it out to you.
Right. What have we got this week, Manon?
2 cracking upgrades. So this first one is in from Nick Martin. And this bike was given to him by a friend that was going to throw it away. When he got it, the rear brake didn't work and it was running as a single speed and the bearings were destroyed. As a student, I didn't have much money to upgrade it, so over 9 months I slowly added second-hand eBay parts to the build to make it into a working cyclocross bike. I did my first ever cyclocross race and loved every second of it.
That's proper cool.
Yeah. Cyclocross is good and it's very hard, an hour full gas. With me about to start work after graduating, I decided to respray the colours I went for that I wanted to stand out in the dark city commute, so I settled for the fluoro pink and blue spray.
Powers used to have a Focus Mars back in the day.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
In total, it cost me £161 to rebuild and respray.
Nice.
And I'm a big fan of these colours.
Well, you're doing a bike spray paint video soon. Is it going to look as good as that?
Probably not.
That does look proper cool.
Yeah.
I do like that pink and the blue. It's really nice.
Nice fade.
Yeah.
Pink handlebar tape too. Not sure about pink handlebar tape in cyclocross race. Well, that would get a bit muddy.
Yeah.
But
You'd probably go black.
tan sidewalls too.
That is nice. They've done a really nice job. It's not going to be plain sailing though.
Can you see through the screen?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good work.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a really good. That's a really
Some
good
inspiration
upgrade.
for me.
Yeah, but it's not going to be straightforward because Jesse Winecoff has made this rather awesome bike stand.
Is it as good as mine? I think it's probably better.
Let's let the viewers decide, Manon.
Okay.
Well, he's got an old post from a fence that was on his property before he bought the home, and all that was left is this crooked old post. What am I going to do with that? Turn it into a bike stand.
Of course.
Obviously, but he didn't just turn it into a bike stand. He built a whole bike workstation around it. Look at this. He built some decking. Wow,
okay.
That's quality decking, right?
I didn't build any decking.
Yeah, and then with not just the decking, he's then got some galvanized pipe and pipe clamps so that he can attach his bike. Then he's added a shelf for brushes and cleaning products and hooks for like a wheel and a helmet to keep all that stuff there as well. And then he's also incorporated mineral water facilities so he can enjoy mineral waters while he's cleaning his bike during prolonged cleaning sessions. Bottle opener attachment on there as well.
Must have.
Thinking on the ball like that. That's great.
It looks quite sturdy as well.
It does. I mean, it looks solid, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's a good bike cleaning station. I'm a big fan of that. I quite wish I had one of those. But yeah, I think both very good upgrades. But it's not up to us, is it? So
No.
You know what to do. Vote in the app.
Who's going to win the cap?
Oh God, I'm really excited, man. It's bike vault time. It's been so long since done a
So
bike vault.
long.
Yeah.
Is the bell still here? Oh.
Yeah, it's there. Yeah.
Ollie, where are half the tools? I thought you were meant to bring them back.
Yeah, I did bring them back. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's some missing there, there's some missing there, and over there.
I brought all of the tools back. I know I borrowed them.
We trusted you with those tools.
Yeah, I brought them back. Anyway, so onto the bike vault this week. There's the bell. See the bell's here.
It's not as good as my sheet bell.
Let's get started. First up this week, we've got this from Inner Roden. It's a Scott foil tent. What do you think of that, Manon?
I mean, at first glance it looks nice, but then closer look, like we have tan sidewalls.
I
Nice.
love the Scott foil. It's one of my favourites. I think it looks good.
You can't have favourites. Cranks aren't in the right position.
Yeah.
And it's just the water bottles on half with 2 different flavour squashes in.
Yes, 2 different flavour squashes in see-through, but yes.
I feel like it just, no.
Yeah.
Saddlebag.
What are those
Valves.
flavours, do you reckon?
Well,
It's like blackcurrant and
yeah.
tropical.
No, orange.
And the valves is annoying me as well. Oh God, it pains me because it's such a nice bike, but nice.
Quite a good background as well.
Yeah, I mean the biggie medium thing is.
Yes.
You need to try harder.
Try again.
Yes. No, that's a nice.
I really want to ring the bell as well.
Yeah. Well, maybe we will.
Maybe next one.
we will. Yeah. So who we got next?
Next up, we have TJ De La Paz with a giant TCR SL.
Very blue. A lot of blue going on.
Blue bottle cage
A lot
as
of
well.
blue. Yeah, blue bottle cage. Yeah.
Quite nice.
Force access group set. Tubeless. He's got his tubeless wheels set up there as well. You see his little tubeless valves going on, which he's I'll give him that. He's sort of lined them up. Pretty well lined up those. Match the bar tape with the saddle as well.
Of course, that's a must.
And he's kept his bottles in, but they're neat.
They are neat bottles.
They're neat. There's like
there's no see-through squash.
Yeah.
See-through squash?
Yeah. There's no alternating flavours going on here, man.
No. Are we in Biggie Smalls? I think we are.
Well, he's got a 10 tooth on there, doesn't he? And it doesn't. I give him that. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
I give him that. Yeah. Oh, but the thing is, man, it's just. I mean, it's nice, but it's just not. I think it's a nice.
Really?
You know what it is? Everything on that bike is stock. He's not done anything. There's no There's no like. It's all just stock. It's like it's just out the box, which is really nice. But I just think it's been a while, so I'm high standards. My standards have gone up.
Okay.
Nice.
I won't ring the bell again.
It's nice. Next up, John 2 Torres.
It's probably easier when it was just one of us. We don't have these debates then.
John 2 Torres has got a fantastic barn. Look at that. I mean, it's like he's completed Farmville and then got a bike.
Very nice background.
Yeah. Wow. I've not got that far on Farmville. Wow, that's a good.
Oh, we've taken bottles out in this one.
Yes, that's a beautiful titanium frame, isn't
Very
it?
nice.
And I like the SRAM red. The cassette is a little bit dirty. It's a bit of grime.
How can you see that?
He needs to get some muck off degreaser on there. I like his power pedals though, and he's lined up his wheels and his. I'll tell you what.
But the tyre logos are different.
One of his tyres is on backwards, man. Oh no, that will not do. That's costing him at least a watt in rolling resistance on the tyre that's on the wrong way around.
Yeah.
Manon, we have standards. These standards need to be maintained. I'm sorry, but that just will not do. That's not good enough. Fantastic barn.
Very good backdrop.
Yes.
Draco _666 _777. Pit stop mid-commute to work.
Yeah. He's got his Cannondale. Is that a CAD 3? Ooh. CAD 3 R500.
There's a lot going on this bike. I mean, yeah, it is a commute.
I mean, because it's a commute, are we giving a special dispensation to the fact that he looks like he's dragged that bike through a kind of accessories drawer? Because it's wearing a lot of accessories.
That's how a bike should look when you're commuting. Got your saddlebag, got your backlight, front light,
no mud
head
guards.
unit. No, maybe it's dry.
I mean, does that mean that we give a special dispensation because he's commuting and he says it's mid-commute, right?
No.
It's a pit stop, so that means I think he's trying to say, if he's telling the truth, right, he's saying, I didn't have time to line up my valves, I didn't have time to go Biggie Smalls, I didn't have time...
That's what the bike fault is.
I didn't have time to do my cranks because I didn't have time to take all the accessories off because he's pit stop on the way to work. Time pressured. So what are we saying about that? We could be setting a precedent here for people to just be sloppy by using the excuse that they're on a commute.
No, it's not a good enough excuse, I don't think.
Okay.
Like, it doesn't take that long to line up your cranks and line up your valves.
I'm glad you said that, Manon. That was a test.
Oh.
You passed. I've trained you well. Excellent. Well, that's it for this week.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any... Well, there's no super nices.
Can I just ring the bell anyway?
What for?
Because we're back.
No. Oh. All right, then.
Celebrate that we're...
Yeah.
Oh, you hate the bell, don't you?
Go on. Go wild.
We're back!
Well, unfortunately, that's the end of this week's show. Hope you've enjoyed it. And as ever, if you want to support the channel and like what we do, then, well, Strada Bianchi, check out the Race Pass, because we really hope that you enjoy that coverage, and we've tried to make it the sort of best cycling viewing experience possible for live racing. So let us know what you think of that, and we'll be back next week. Hopefully, well, no, I'm not here next week, actually.
Oh, just me.
Yeah, just getting your own again.
Me and my screen.
Yeah.
Maybe this bell will get rung a bit more next week.